take a quick peek at the shading and soft edge, or I call it the shading and highlighting macro, that comes along with the Master Vector Training. Also, there's over 80 shading and highlighting custom brushes for CorelDRAW that are included in the series. Tools to really expedite your workflow, but it's all about taking your design work and adding dimension and pop to it, shading and highlighting. I mean, a flat logo is a flat logo, but when you add some shading and highlighting to designs and logos and things like that, you can really add some pop to them. And we can do that very quickly and very effectively working with these tools, and we'll get into more in-depth sessions in the training series. But to get started here, I'm just going to go over my rectangle tool, and I'm going to hold down Shift and Control and create a perfect rectangle from the center point, holding down Shift and Control. Go to my pick tool and I'll change to my rotate and skew mode, hold down Control and rotate that 45 degrees. Come up here and I'll just click and convert that to curves. Go to my shape tool, left click, hold down my Control button to constrain that, and we'll get a nice V shape there. I'll bring this up here and that's going to be pretty close. I'll go ahead and copy and paste that, go back to my shape tool, hold down Control here and pull up. And what I'm really doing is I'm just recreating the logo from the Master Vector Training Series. I'm going to pull this up here a little bit more, just about right there. I'm going to come over here to my 2-point line tool and I'll just hold down Control and create a straight line. Go ahead and lasso. I could hit Control A, but I'll lasso, select everything, hit center. Go to my Smart Fill tool and I'll click here and I'll click here. Now I've got those two portions or vectors set up. I'm going to go to my Interactive Fill tool, come down here, left click on that, pull that up. I'm going to come here to the bottom color. I'm going to change that to a dark blue. I'm going to go to the top color, change that to a lighter blue. I might even go a little bit lighter than that. What I'll do is I'll come over here, click on this, and we'll come down here to our color and we'll make that a little bit lighter. That'll be fine. I'll click on the X here and close that. Then I'll select this object and do the same thing. Here I'll select here and I'll go with a lighter blue. And then I'll select over here and we'll go with left click, hold down, a little bit of a lighter blue than that, something like that there. So I've got half of this set up. Now at this point what I want to do is I want to create some shading and highlighting. So I'll go ahead and take this, select that, copy, and I'll paste that in. Fill that with a really dark blue, go to my transparency and just pull that up and make that transparency and bring that shading right into there. Do the same thing here. I'll copy that, paste that, fill that with a darker blue, and then bring my transparency into that, as you can see right there. So I've got that set up. Next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this center line segment. I'll delete that. I can delete this and this. I've got basically what I want here. I'll hold down Control and then I'll move over holding down my left mouse button to the left. Right click one time, duplicate that. There's the foundation of the logo. Go ahead and select everything here, come up to the multiple objects properties bar, and I'm going to create a boundary. For my boundary, I'm going to go here to my shading height, but I'm going to go to the inside shading. I'm going to change this to 0 to 5. I'm going to give this 20. And I'm not going to keep the original object, and then I'm going to click on Apply. Instantaneous shading to the inside. Right click on a darker blue, that'll give that some depth, and I can make that even darker. Come down here and to say something like this, maybe a little lighter, something like that. I know you can't see this, or something like this, and there you have that shading to the inside of the logo. Next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and select this object, which is a curve on layer 1. I'll go to the shape tool, I'll select this node, hold down Shift, select that node, hit Control C to copy that line segment, Control V to paste it back in. Come over here to my shading and highlighting brushes. I'll take this one, click on that, and apply it. I'll come up here and click on cyan, and there is some highlighting. Next thing I'll do with this is I'll take this, holding down Control, right click one time to duplicate it, and there's that highlighting right there. Next thing I'll do is, and I could have kept my line, and I probably should have, but I'll go ahead and create another line. Come here basically to the center, holding down Control to constrain that, and I'll zoom in to see if I'm centered here. Go ahead and select this line segment, and I'll just bring this to the center. Zoom in a little more, and that looks like it's pretty well centered. Might want to bring it right over there. There we go. Then I'll come over here and I'll select a different shading and highlighting brush, and I'll apply that, and then I'll go ahead and fill that with a very dark blue. And you can see that I've gone through here and I've added some shading and highlighting. Now if I want to make some adjustments, I can take this brush, right click, break artistic media apart, zoom in, click off, and I just want to select the line that the brush was on and delete that. And I can select this and go to my transparency, which is down here, and change this to say 94 and make it darker with that shading and highlighting brush. If I wanted it to be a highlight, I could change it to a cyan, but I prefer it as a shading, so I'll go very dark there. So you can see how some of these tools work in the Master of Vector Training series, and I will get deeper into these tools and how to use them. They're really effective for things like logos, all kinds of high-end vector illustration, etc., giving us some shading and highlighting functionality that really isn't native to Corel, and then working with the brushes and their transparencies to give us that shading and highlighting look. Go ahead and wrap here, and we'll see you in our next session.